Hey, welcome to today's show. This is our 5th live episode. I'm Derek with Boise Cylinder Head Services, and this is Booker.
Nice
Also
to see you guys again.
Let's see. Today we wanted to talk about the giveaway we're doing. We have a video that we posted yesterday or earlier today about the giveaway and what you need to do to get involved in that giveaway. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, and if you watch that video, click the like button, hit the bell notification button, and subscribe if you haven't already. And if you leave in the comments your email and that you want to be included in this drawing, is pretty much what you got to do to get involved in this contest, get entered into this contest. So we got a few things we're giving away along with a few gift cards, AutoZone and what was the other one? Amazon and AutoZone gift cards, and you get a chance to win one of these cups, one of our magnets here, a few pens. I don't know if you can see that well from all the way over here, but we'll get a close up here. We got a few Boise Cylinder Head pens right here. One of our Boise Cylinder Head coffee cups, and
got a cool little magnet.
Sweet little magnet there with our logo on it. But yeah, just watch that video and it'll tell you what you need to do to enter the contest.
Also, there's a bonus for anybody that can go in, like, subscribe, comment on every single video. If they do that and they are subscribed, they'll get a bonus, and that's an instant one right there.
Instant win right there.
There you go.
Sweet. Yeah, so that's definitely the way to go. I mean, if you want to win these prizes, that's an instant win to just go on all our videos, like and subscribe, and comment on every single video that we've had to date. So yeah, there's one way to win it. Another thing we wanted to talk about is common technical bulletins that we see or common issues that we see with a variety of different cylinder heads. We have the 3.7, 4.7, and 5.7 Chryslers, the Hemis. It's also in Jeeps, Dodge, but it's, I believe, like the 2000 to 2008 range, year range. All those cylinder heads, 3.7, 4.7, 5.7, have a valve seat fallout issue. They get hot, they expand, and drop a seat. We've seen this pretty much at all miles. I think most commonly in the 100, 120 range, but anywhere from probably 50 to 50 plus, you could have that problem happen, where it drops the seat, hangs a valve, causes a misfire, could damage the tip of the valve or the rocker arm or the camshaft. In extreme cases, it can break the seat apart and it'll just bounce around shrapnel inside the cylinder, which causes some significant damage in certain scenarios. What we do to fix that problem is we have to remove all the seats and put in new seats with a little bit higher press fit. So we pretty much rebuild the cylinder head, drop in all new seats, and reassemble it, new valve stem seals, and then you're good to go without having any further issues once you put that proper seat in there with that extra press fit. That's a really common thing that we've seen over the last 15 years or so.
It's something that we fix on all of our stock heads that we build.
Yeah.
It's just a common go-to. Anything that comes in the door, we recommend, getting that replaced, whether or not we see anything, any instances of where we could possibly see that happening. Even if we don't recognize it or it's not happening at the moment, we always tell our customer, this is what happens, and it's time to get it fixed, especially if there's any sort of mileage on the vehicle.
Yeah, and if it overheats or whatever, it's just your higher risk. Any of those stock heads, you're at high risk for that. Overheating it or not maintaining your engine properly definitely increases those risks of that happening. But yeah, like you said, anytime we see those cylinder heads, we check it to see if there's been new seats installed, and if not, we definitely recommend that, because it really sucks to have your cylinder head off and then put it back in the car and have that issue happen right after you pulled it off and spent all that time doing the work, just to have another issue.
Yeah.
Let's see, another Another thing that we've seen, we have these Duramax diesel head, 6.6 liter. They have a common problem of blowing combustion gas into the coolant system through the injector port. Is that what it is?
Yeah, the injector plug, hole.
Injector plug. So we pressure test all those cylinder heads when they come in, just to ensure that that problem isn't happening right then. But a lot of the times it's common for us to replace the whole entire cylinder head. Once that problem presents itself and we have those issues that come along with that combustion gas in the coolant system, it's a known sign for us to replace the cylinder head because it's not a fixable problem. Usually the seam on the casting breaks and causes that combustion gas to leak back into it. So Duramax diesel 6.6, I think that's in some GMCs and some Chevys.
GMC, Chevy, generally the 250s, HDs, and the 3500s. They do come in some commercial vehicle stuff as well. But generally, guys like to boost their stuff, and that's where we start to see issues here. We always go with new castings on those too when we replace them, right?
Yeah, I mean, if they're experiencing that problem, we definitely try and, we go with new castings. I mean, if the casting's not showing those signs, it's case by case basis where sometimes the customer just wants us to rebuild that head, in which case, if we don't see the problem with a pressure test, then yeah, we'll rebuild those cylinder heads. But, if we do see that issue, definitely new cylinder heads. And we usually recommend both sides because if one's doing it, the other one's probably experienced the same kind of stresses that has caused the first one to do it. So a little bit preventative there so that they don't have that issue in the future. You see, we had a 97 Jeep 4-liter cylinder head come in, and those are pretty well known for cracking. This one had a pretty big gash, pretty big crack in between the exhaust and intake valve that is
sizable. Yeah, probably the biggest one we've seen yet.
Yeah, I think so. You could fit your whole fingernail in there.
Yeah.
So I mean, we had to we offered a brand new replacement for that one, a newer, thicker casting. The customer wanted to stick with original casting, so we found one that wasn't cracked and replaced it there. Did a full valve job on it and got the customer a good running cylinder head. They were stoked with that.
Yeah.
What other issues do we see?
We already talked about the Lexus.
Let's see the Chrysler 3.6 liter heads, like the 2012 to 2016, maybe a little later than that. They have a pounded in. Well, they have an exhaust valve that pounds into the seat on the right-hand front cylinder.
It's the left front exhaust valve that usually pounds in, and it seems like that's mainly caused because of guide issues. They wear out like crazy. But yeah, it just takes out the seat, takes out the valve for the most part. In most cases, if it's caught quickly, we can save it. We can save it without having to put a seat in or a new valve, but that's a big issue on those ones that we have seen.
Let's see, what else we got? We talked about the 5.3 and 6 liter Chevy LS heads pounding in their intake valves, I think, on the last live, and maybe a video or two as well. Some more information on those pounded in valves in our videos on our channel there. What else do we got? We got
the Suzuki Forenza, the 2 liter.
Yeah, the Suzuki Forenza. We've had an issue with finding parts for those recently. I feel like did they discontinue them?
Yep.
They did.
Yep, they're discontinued from the OEM dealership, both Chevy and Suzuki. Can't get them through either one.
Yeah, what year is that one that we have there?
I believe that is an 03. Let me check.
It's awesome.
07?
It's a 07, yeah.
07 Suzuki Forenza. They have some oddball oil galley plugs, I think 10 millimeter by 1.0, that, you don't see those too often. So we, tried to get them through the dealership.
You take one, take it, and let them see it.
Oh,
You want me to grab
We
one
can
of the
bring the head
JPP?
over. like,
Yeah.
Or the oil galley plug.
Yeah, I think they like to see that.
I'll grab the head and you grab the oil.
Yeah, sure. We'll grab that, give you guys a visual on what that looks like there. We got those puppies.
I got them over here in this toolbox.
Alrighty. Well, this is kind of a bigger example of what we're talking about, an oil galley plug. It's a pipe thread. That means it's tapered, smaller here than it is at the end here, so it wedges in there. And with that, what's this called? Pipe,
Japanese pipe plug.
with the what's that stuff? Plumber's tape kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah, pipe.
Sealant, some sort of sealant that goes on there. So when you tighten that in there, the press fit does most of the work, and then that sealer does the final touches on it, to seal up that oil galley hole. This is actually the size that we found. And I think, I don't know where we got these things, but they're almost handmade. They've been ground to some stone to a point there. But the same thing, it's a pipe plug, doesn't have the thread sealant on it. So we'll have to put that on there before we use it in this application. A little Allen socket there that drives it in. We have these Japanese thread pipe plugs that are pretty close in size, and they actually fit in a hole. And that's caught us before, where we assumed that it was this tinier one. This is what we use most commonly in here, an 1/8 inch by 27 National Fine Thread pipe plug. But this is the Suzuki Forenza head that is in question that I'm talking about today. And they have 4 of these little things that go in the end here.
2 on
Right
each
there.
side.
2 on each side. And it has this unique kind of plug that that they've discontinued making. It's a struggle to find these things these days. That is required to plug those holes. We put in this one before, and it's caused oil leaks and problems. And not so proud to discuss that, but it's happened.
They look so almost identical that
Yeah,
and the fact that they go in there, we were caught off guard, and we had to teach ourselves on that one. So
Hello, Studio 1326. How's your day going? I know. But yeah, these pipe plugs, there's a lot of different engines that require these things, and blocks have them even more. But yeah, this is one that's caused us a problem in the past, and is a real struggle to find. It's a real bummer when they discontinue these parts like that, because people are trying to rebuild older stuff. It's usually like the car is important to them or holds some extra value to them personally, and getting it rebuilt is just getting more costly because of discontinued parts and stuff. So, that's kind of the situation with these Suzuki Forenzas. It's getting too old to rebuild, essentially. Without extra motivation or extra costs, But yeah, that's what we do here. Problem solved. Finding that plug was a hassle, but we did it. What else do we got cooking today? 6-liter, 6.4 liter Ford heads. We see them rather commonly. We stock a whole bunch of those heads because they crack and they have issues, mostly involving cracks that we see really commonly with those heads. So every time we get one in, first step is to magnaflux it. That's a crack detection process. I believe we have a video on that, a couple of them maybe, in our videos on our channel here. So if you want more on that, you can check that out. But we start out with that, and I wouldn't say probably 50% of the time we find a crack, if not more, on those cylinder heads, and then they need replacing. And people love their big Ford trucks, so high motivation to get the job done right and get a cylinder head on there that's not cracked. So, We see a fair amount of that. I don't know if there's a technical bulletin on it, but maybe there should be.
There probably should be. And to be clear, if you don't know what a technical service bulletin is, it's basically the manufacturer of the product coming out and saying, hey, you know, we made a mistake here. It's become a common issue, and we recognize it. It may not be considered a recall. So in some cases it is, but it's them letting you know, hey, this needs to be addressed or fixed, and this is something that we have seen commonly as being an issue.
Yeah. Most definitely. There's some education on technical bulletins. Hope that cleared that up. I'm sure it did. Another thing that we've seen we were talking about today was the 2.5 liter 2-liter swap for Subaru turbos.
Yeah.
We have a guy in here that wanted us to port match or combustion chamber match a 2-liter turbo head to a 2.5 liter so that they can get some advantages with using the 2.5 liter block in an older 2-liter Subaru frame or body.
And I think it's basically just based for having a little bit more torque is why they try to do that. But one of the big things that they do that over, like they do offer the piston conversion kit that clears that up. But another thing that we did find out today is pre-combustion is the problem, and that's why a lot of the guys that are doing these kind of swaps end up going and getting the actual head service because they tend to pre-combust. So
so we're digging into that and figuring out what it takes to achieve that goal. Got out the combustion chamber and open it up to make it like a 2.5 cylinder head. Interesting stuff. I'm kind of excited to see how it pans out.
we saw that SRT4 head that was all CNC ported, and we had a little bit of questionable concerns as to the quality of the work there because of the lips on what was it, the exhaust or the intake?
Oh yeah, on the exhaust side it was CNC ported, but it had a bump right on the exhaust, right underneath the exhaust seat where the air is flowing out. And any bump in that area
Gotta be a big drag.
Is a lot of drag on the air flowing out. So seeing that, it's kind of questioning, is CNC work really all it's cracked up to be? We know a guy that does it all by hand still, and he port and polishes castings that have been CNC ported. So I think there's a lot to be gained, more than just what a CNC machine can do. So that's cool. We're kind of feeling that out and seeing what that's all about. But I think, at the end of the road, machine can do quite a lot, but getting a pair of human eyes on it and fine tuning that thing is definitely better than just the CNC machine for sure.
And I think a lot of it comes down to just knowledge and experience too, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't, and, having that stuff come through and learning from it. So,
yeah, no doubt there. Let's see, what other stuff do we got cooking?
doing a whole lot of stock rebuilding.
Yeah, a lot of stock, a lot of Subarus, lower Subarus.
Single overhead cam, variable valve timing. Yeah, we're getting a lot more motorcycles in recently too. The Harley Davidsons,
Go-kart too.
go-kart, Kawasaki go-kart head. We got the YZ450F, and then a Honda an old air-cooled Honda 250. 250 4-stroke.
So that time of year, I think, as the weather's trying to cool off, people are going to get off their bikes and get them tuned back up, preparing for the next season.
Out here in winter, it's hard to play with your toys in the snow, so that's kind of the time where everybody starts to rebuild and tinker with their power sports stuff. So
we've had a couple forklifts in the recent past came in too. Propane Mazda forklift. Was it a Mazda forklift?
I believe it was Mazda.
Yeah, those things are always hard to source parts for, but we refreshing that head for a guy. It had the foo-fooest little springs on it. I was surprised how light those were, but it probably has lower RPM being a forklift. Propane.
How's propane affect the valves and stuff? compared
So
to
a lot
gas?
more heat.
Yeah, propane, definitely a lot more heat, and I think it burns longer too.
It does. Yeah.
So the flames are passing that exhaust valve usually on the exhaust stroke.
Combustion temperatures are pretty high. That's why we usually see stellite valves or something very hard compound, and the exhaust seats are usually quite hardened, and to withstand those pressures and heats.
Yeah, compared to a regular gas engine, I mean the valves are double the cost, the seats are double the cost, everything's pretty much double the cost to afford the material necessary to put up with those temperatures. Natural gas is another thing, very similar to propane, but it's a lot dirtier gas, so even more has to be done to withstand that for a long period of time. And what else? Yeah, I guess it's kind of like extreme racing applications kind of use the same stuff as propane and
it's
natural
like
gas applications.
ethanol, methanol, those really high temperature burning, quick. Ethanol and methanol are a little bit more quick burning, but quite high octane, which produces a lot of heat, and they're definitely in more need of hardened stuff. In one case, when we were rebuilding our neighbor's cylinder heads for his, supercharged nitromethane drag bike, we were actually cutting on some beryllium seats, beryllium copper, I believe. And I think he said that valve was $1,000 for one valve.
Yeah, titanium, huge, light.
Yeah.
But pay to play for sure.
Yep.
We hear that thing starting up next door all the time, and it's a rowdy thing.
It's
I'm
loud.
sure it books it, and the parts are expensive to boot.
Yeah.
We've seen some airplane valves in here too. We've got a guy that brings in airplane parts from time to time. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
You don't really see much more of it than just the valves, but
And it's interesting. The stems on those things are extremely large, but the heads of the valves are not. I mean, in comparison to like a Chevy 350 or something like that, it's not. It's nowhere near the same size, and I almost wonder how that. Combines with the wear on the guides and the heads and stuff, because it's not like we see the heads or anything like that. He always just brings in, valves, and so he's got to be lapping them in or something like that.
Yeah, I kind of imagine with I think it's older planes that he's working on, but it's kind of like a parachute, you want to pack it yourself.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
You don't want to be super mad falling out of the sky at, somebody else for making a mistake. So, high risk deal there. That'd be interesting to get into though.
Yeah, no, that'd be fun to check out. Didn't we had the Caterpillar heads the dump heads. What were those burning?
Natural gas.
Was it natural?
Natural gas power generator, I do believe.
And those were like what, V20s?
Yeah, they had 20 cylinder heads.
And it's an individual.
Massive cylinder heads.
Yeah.
But those are a whole different breed there. I mean, the valves had to be tougher. Everything was tougher about that thing. But the seats, that was really cool. With the seats, you had to weld them out and then get liquid nitrogen to drop the seats back in there.
Get them shrunk up, and they're such hard material that the press fit would probably just crack them or break them.
Yeah.
So
that was interesting to work on for sure.
Volvo, looking on some Volvo stuff.
Old Volvo head. What year is that? 90 something, I think, right?
I'm not sure. He changed. What year's that Volvo right behind you?
Oh yeah, the 5-cylinder Volvo.
2016.
2016. They haven't changed their style much. They've been running that same design. I mean, they might have changed the external components from 2000 to 2016, but pretty much basic, similar design. Might have changed some things here and there, but all righty. Well, that's all we got for today. Thank you for watching. Remember to like and comment on that giveaway video if you want to get involved in that giveaway. We appreciate you watching today.
Subscribe, hit the bell notification.
Yeah, definitely. And remember, it's all in your head. Have a good day, guys.
Have a good one.
What time is it?
Huh?
25 minutes?
Yeah, somewhere around there. No traffic though, but our traffic days are Wednesdays and Sundays. So
How many viewers do we have?
one.
Just the one.
No, that was me commenting. I was trying to get the other viewer to say something. Yeah, I'm watching on my phone the whole time.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no problem. I like it. And chit chatting about it. It's cool.
I totally took you out of inventory and didn't finish what I was